welcome to Heidi's Homestead. I am gonna do the garden tour it's June 10th. I know I'm supposed to do 3 garden tours, one in the beginning of the month and one in the middle of the month and one late in the month. But I've been busy planting my garden. I have 99% of my garden planted. I just have to plant some cucumbers there in that bed over there. Oh, those 2 beds over there. And what else? Oh, and some fennel, which I don't know if I'm going to get to that. But let's do this garden tour. Okay, here I have snapdragons. And I've been doing only 2 bouquets so far that I've done. Oh God, it's hot. And they're just so beautiful. I love them. Next year I will do 2 garden beds of just snapdragons and zinnias. Here I got more zinnias. Not zinnias, snapdragons. Blueberries. I don't know if I'm gonna keep these blueberries. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go to this part. Okay, these I've done pumpkins here. I got cucumbers there. I got sunflowers at that end, which they're sprouting. That's amazing. Beautiful. I got pumpkins at this end. And this bed I have not filled yet, which I'm gonna finish filling up. Next. Here I have, what are these? Nasturtiums, chamomile, and I forgot what these are. And I did a pumpkin here. I got peppers, which are growing flowers already. Here I got potatoes, and I gotta harvest those lettuce, and I can plant more pumpkins there. I'm gonna do that tonight. More zinnias, and then here I got like a black-eyed Susan or Rebecca, and some tomatoes, some more tomatoes. And here I got some potatoes that I gotta cover up. They're just sprawling out. They're definitely not ready. So I'm just gonna cover them so that they won't turn green. Oh, these are potatoes. And I have carrots there, and I will plant cucumbers in these 2 beds. Here I got some kale, and I got pumpkins here that I planted, and some bachelor's buttons and zinnias. Oh, and a small little tomato. I forgot the name of this. All right, so this is the part of this garden which I don't like it as much. I liked it last year more, so next year I'm gonna do like what I did last year. I had peppers and zucchinis, and these are just pumpkins. Okay, oh, so hot. Strawberries, rosemary, some squash, summer squash, peppers, pumpkins, all right. So here I have my onions. I harvested the potatoes that were here. because I wanted to plant some pumpkins, but I did get a little harvest, which was really cute harvest. Here I got my onions, and they're bulbing up already, as you can see. They're bulbing up. And I harvested some potatoes here, but I didn't dig them up. I just wanted this area to be clear and breathable. And I got some nasturtiums here. You can see the onions are bulbing up. Gotta take these weeds out. And this is a pepper plant. And I got a tomato plant right there too. And these are bulbing up beautifully. So that's good to see. Here I got some more onions with some carrots. Here I have a watermelon with some carrots. As you can see, I gotta feed these. Here I got some potatoes, and half of this bed is shallots, and this half is onions. But I also have some tomatoes in here, which I am gonna leave. There's one right there, and there's another one here. And these are Roma tomatoes, and here's another one here and another one here. So I'm gonna leave those, and once I harvest the shallots, they're gonna those tomato plants are gonna explode. Here I have, I think it's a summer squash. No, it is a summer squash. It might be a melon. I don't know. Either or. But look at these shallots. I'm looking at them now, and they are bulbing up. So that's nice to see. I gotta get these weeds out. So yeah, they're bulbing up. These weeds. Fighting these weeds. Yes, I hate these weeds. I don't know what type of weeds they are, but I don't like them. Okay, I got here another pepper plant, which is flowering. Very happy to see that. That's another pepper plant with some weeds. I got zinnias here. This bed is sunflowers with cosmos right here. And here I have mint. And I watered these earlier, so that's where they're leaning. Here I have potatoes, which are not ready yet. And with what are those? What are these? Leeks and carrots. So this is a weed that I do not want in here. Yeah, that's weed. Don't want that there. Here I have some tomatoes. Which is this? Oh, I got two tomatoes, some green beans here, and a weed that I don't want. I hate those weeds. And then I think I have some cosmos, and these are peppers with some potatoes and some more peppers and potatoes. As you can see, I planted a lot of potatoes. Next year we're not gonna have this much potatoes. Another potato plant. Here I have my indeterminate Romas. That's a determinate tomato right there. But these are indeterminate aromas, and a pepper plant, which is flowering. Oh, and I got a cabbage back there. And it's looking pretty good. This year, I'm not liking how I did my garden. Next year, I I want my tomatoes in this area of the garden. So I'm definitely gonna plant tomatoes in this area. Okay, so this is okay, so this bed is suffering with weeds. I weeded it out 2 days ago. I have green beans here with some tomatoes that I gotta put out in here. So I got green beans here. I got more growing here, and I gotta weed all these out. Okay, so I have an issue. I hope it doesn't become a big issue. So starting from this bed and onward, I've seen some things happening. First of all, let me get this out of the way. I got 2 tomatoes. I got my tomatillo plants. I got 2. I got a tomato here and a tomato there and another tomato there. So I think I'm seeing well, I am seeing flowers, but I'm seeing a tomatillo forming there. And we have some forming over there too. And I got peppers forming here too. And some peppers forming here too. But they're dropping their flowers, which it's common. I'm not worried about. Okay, so let's talk about the issue. As you could, I don't know if you could spot it or not. You see here, this was eaten. This was eaten. So I'm having new growth on this plant, but this was eaten. Same here. This was eaten. This was definitely eaten. I'm gonna keep it because there's new growth. These were eaten. This was eaten. This was eaten. There's a weed that I don't like. This was eaten, and I'm keeping it because there's still new growth. That was eaten. That was eaten. Oh, but look at those peppers are growing. I feel like these peppers are growing every day. They're getting bigger and bigger. And those are Anaheim peppers. And this bed is a mix of tomatoes, kale, peppers, and green beans. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're growing in. But I'm having that issue of something eating them. This is another Roma bed. Indeterminate. This was eaten too. As you can see, munched on. And at first I was like, it can't be a bug because this was eaten in a day. And I know, mind you, I know that the hornworm could eat everything up tomato plant in one day. I know that. And I have some garlic here. But I was like, it can't be a bug because 2 days ago I was pruning my tomatoes. As you can see, they're very nicely pruned. And I was putting some tomato rings on them. So while I was doing that, I was inspecting them for bugs. And I just didn't see any bugs, any bug damage. So I was like, okay, it's not a bug. And I'll show you more damage. And this is another tomato bed, and I have zinnias here. And some of the zinnias were eaten too. You see them munched here, munched here. So I'm like, what is eating my crops. And kale was a favorite. This tomato was eaten here. So I told my husband, I have something eating. And he's like, well, it could be a bunny. And we have bunnies. We have lots of bunnies. And we have deer. And we've seen deer, but we haven't seen them a lot here. So I was like, okay, I was thinking it was bunnies at first, but look at my sunflowers. All of these were munched on. And I don't know if I want to rip them out. I still have hope for them. So I'm going to leave them for a week or two and see if they will sprout any leaves. But all these were munched on. So I'm like, it can't be bunnies because these are tall. So bunnies, it's not the bunnies. And I have a squash there and a squash there. There's summer squash. And I planted pumpkins here. So I'm like, okay, it's not bunnies because bunnies, those plants are too tall for bunnies. So today I was mowing my grass and I went clearly on this side. I don't want to go over there because it might still be there. And I was right here in this area. I was starting up my mower and all of a sudden I see something run that way. And at first I thought it was a dog. I'm like, oh my God, I have a dog. There's dog loose. Because sometimes that happens in our neighborhood. And I saw it clearly. And I was like, no, it's not a dog. It was a baby deer. So it was in that area. So I have a baby deer. So there's a family of deer here. There was a baby deer that I scared. So it's probably still there waiting for its mom. It ran over there, but it came back and then it ran over there. So I'm thinking it's somewhere over there. So I'm not even going to go over there. But I am worried. I was telling my husband, should I net it? Because obviously I don't have a fence. And we're not putting a fence. So I'm worried because I know deer could devastate a garden. And I was talking to my husband. I mean, they haven't messed with the garlic or the potatoes. They probably don't like that. Should I put some netting around? Because I do have netting. Because I got it from my dogs. Because the dogs like to get in my garden beds, especially when they're not occupied. So I'm thinking about it. I'm going to give it a week. And if I see more damage, then I'm definitely going to put netting. So this is my garlic. I've been harvesting scapes. So this garlic is going to be done in July. There is a variety. I've done some pumpkins here that have rotted. And I wish I would have. So this might be the variety. Music. For some reason, I have some music rotted. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. So I don't know if I'm going to plant music again. Might do another variety. But this, as you can see, I've taken it out. And there's some potatoes, some volunteer potatoes. So I left that for them to grow. So next year, or not in October, because that's when you plant garlic. I am not going to do this much garlic, even though I love it, but I'm not going to grow this much garlic next year. I think next year we're just going to do 2 garden beds. And I've been harvesting the garlic scapes. So yeah, so this October, we're not going to do this much garlic. I don't know what beds I'm going to plant them in, but I'm not going to do this much. When this crop comes out, when I harvest it, I'm going to do summer squash and some fall tomatoes. I'm just going to do like 6 fall tomatoes, Romas, determinate tomatoes. I can't do indeterminate because I just don't have time, but determinate tomatoes I do have time. So I'm just gonna probably just do them in this bed here. All right, so this is my garlic, my potato bed, and this is a potato garlic bed. Again, potatoes I will harvest probably around the same time I will when I harvest my garlic. I got a mold, so I had to put this up here, but I gotta take this out so the plants won't get damaged. So these are looking like I'll probably harvest these in like 2 weeks. Those back there. This is potato. This is potato. This year I grew a lot of potatoes, but and my husband doesn't really eat potatoes. Next year I'm not gonna grow as many potatoes as this year. So, oh no, I don't like this. Okay, I thought this was damaged. This is just soil. Okay, so I got tomatoes here, and these tomatoes I don't think they were munched on. I think this one was. So yes, here I got peppers here, and they have flowers. They're flowering, so that's looking pretty good. Look at this flower, it's growing beautifully. Oh, and I got a pumpkin here, and this is a Blaze pumpkin. That is a sugar baby watermelon. And I think that's a pumpkin, I'm not sure. Here I have some peppers. I gotta weed this out. What are those? Oh God, rhubarb. And I gotta fill these garden beds up, this one up. So that's probably gonna be at the end of the season. I'm gonna do it this year, so that way I don't have to worry about it next year. Next year I'll just worry about, maybe I'll buy some round garden beds, and I'll worry about filling those up. And when I mean round ones, like those over there, and those are easy to fill up. So next year I will just worry about planting the beds. Okay, so here I have some squash, summer squash. That is a pumpkin. I think it's a sugar pie pumpkin. Here I planted some summer squash. Here, I'll show you more damage. Here I have a potato again. I planted potatoes all over the place. Next year I'm not gonna do that. I got garlic here. More potatoes. And I got some pepper plants here that are getting shaded by the what are these? Potatoes. So I'm trying to give them some more breathing room. Those are, what are those called? Tomatoes. Sorry, the heat is really getting to me. So here I have some pumpkins that I want to grow out. This is a little I'm sorry, little pumpkin. Here I have a black cat pumpkin, and these are gonna grow outward. Oh, and I also planted pumpkins on the edges of my garlic beds. I think this is a calendula. Whoops. And this is my husband's garden bed. He didn't plant the calendula or the beans. I did. He just planted the pumpkins and the tomatoes. And I planted that summer squash. This is a cherry tomatoes. Cherries are always the ones that produce first, and as you can see, it is producing tomatoes already, which I am very happy. And yeah, he picked these tomatoes. I don't know what type of variety he did. I think money makers and stuff like that. Okay, here is more tomatoes. I think these are San Marzanos. Some more tomatoes with garlic. More tomatoes. And yes, so these were damaged. These were pole beans. As you can see, they're already growing upwards. And I have some also cucumbers here too that are gonna grow up with the pole beans. And you can see damage there. And I got beets here. Yeah, this is a sugar pie pumpkin. Yes, and these are just tomatoes. And no, I don't think this was damaged. All right. So here I have, these are the majority of these peppers are poblanos because I love poblanos. Here I have a pumpkin, and this is, I think, that warty thing. And I want it to grow this way. Dill. Here I got some peppers, and these are pepperoncini. They're flowering. And this is a yellow monster. And here I have some cucumbers. This is a serrano. More dill. Oh, here's the damage. So here is the damage from them eating it. And it seems only that this and this plant got eaten. I got a potato here. And this is borage. I planted several borage around here because it attracts honeybees. And we need honeybees for our watermelon, our pumpkins, and our squash. And here I'm going to plant some green beans. So these are Anaheim. They're growing beautifully. Really are. And what is this? This is another poblano, and I have peppers growing on them already. More tomatoes. Some are flowering. And this cow was just munched on. And I got here pumpkins. So yeah, this was just munched on. Yeah, and this was, I had a lot of leaves here yesterday, and this was just munched on. Probably it was munched on last night. And I don't know what type of bug that is. I don't know if it's a good bug or a bad bug. I don't know. What do you guys think? Right there. Okay. It's not focusing. So I got, all of these are poblanos, I believe. Or bell peppers. But yeah. Alright. So this is this part of the garden. And now we are going to go to the garden inside. It's fast because my iPhone is getting hot. This is a bell pepper bed. And it's growing beautifully. Here I have tomatoes. Beautifully, I pruned them yesterday. No, 2 days ago. And they're just looking beautifully. I learned from last year. I didn't prune my tomatoes last year, and they got diseased really quickly. And as you can see, I pruned them a lot because by July last year, I was already having disease. So I'm not playing around this time. So I got here potatoes, peppers, and a tomato plant. This is another tomato bed. I gotta stake some. This is potato, squash. I got a tomato there, and some green beans, and some basil, and some zinnias in this area. And that you can't see them because everything has grown quite a lot. Okay. Here, this bed, I got just peppers here. I planted some zucchini here that has not sprouted. I don't know if it will. Maybe it was old seed that I planted. So with some weeds, and I got some pumpkins. Long Island cheese. Pumpkins. Those are, what are those? Melons, and melons back there. My berries are just looking amazing. Those are my strawberries. They are thriving, and I got a lot of strawberries from them. I'm doing this fast because it's getting hot and my phone is getting hot. I'm gonna get a lot of blackberries. Obviously not ready yet, but I have a ton there. Blackberries, raspberries, and I want to plant more raspberries and blackberries. Strawberries, weeds, chamomile. And I got a tomato there. Summer squash here. Weeds. And this is my herb garden. It's not looking too good, but I'm happy with it. Yeah. Alright guys, that is the end of the garden. I will do another video on what I will do differently next year, because there are some things that I didn't like where I planted them, but it's too hot right now, and I wish I could put it in this video, but my phone is getting hot. So I will do that maybe later on tonight. But this is the garden of 2026. Everything is growing beautifully. Yes, we are a little behind. Last year everything was way bigger, but we did start off with a cold spring, so everything is behind probably a month or so, or a few weeks or so, 3 weeks or so. Last spring was warm, so last spring I had everything planted in late April, something that you can't do here in the Midwest, especially in Ohio. And this time I planted everything after Mother's Day, like probably a week after Mother's Day. So yes, we are a little behind, but everything is growing perfectly. I was kind of panicking a little bit because I was like, man, last year I was looking at pictures from last year, and I was like, my garden looked different last year from what it looks today. Everything was bigger, and you know, but yes, so every year is different. I'm gonna change everything. I'm gonna have everything planned. This year I didn't have everything completely planned because I still didn't know how many beds I was gonna have filled with soil, but I did mostly all of them. I just have 1, 2, 3, 4 beds that I gotta fill, and some round beds that I want to put maybe next year. I'm gonna scatter them around, and I think I'm gonna put 2 more beds in that area, but to fill 6 garden beds either late this year or early next year, early in the season next year, that's not gonna kill me. But I had to fill all these, and then some out there, and then the one out over there. That was a lot. So I will do, it's either this year or next year, I will fill the 6 garden beds that I have left, but that's nothing. I could do that in 2 weeks. And then next year I could just plant everything and have everything planned like how I wanted to this year. So I'm gonna change a lot of things and where I'm gonna have them planted. It's just some areas I don't like where I planted them, but again, I was in a panic mode. We were behind in planting, but next year I will have a better plan. But that's gonna be another talk for another video, probably later on the season. It's early right now in the season, so yeah. Well, happy gardening, guys. Bye.